Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We have another build video and today we're going to be talking about the Mechanist. The Mechanist is the mech wielding, mech creating engineer from Cantha and is probably one of the most thematically sound in terms of the location of Cantha and how Cantha has progressed with its industry in Jade, and the Mechanist utilizes Jade mechs, and it's the first time that a non-minion slash pet class is getting a minion slash a pet in the form of a beautiful boy, a beautiful construction of a golem, and it's so cool. You can even name it. My Mechanist's mech is named Mecheth Mech. Yeah, it's very original and out there. But in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my support build for Mechanist. I'm not sure if you know, but Mechanist is, I would say, a very easy support class to play when you spec it correctly. And if you are perhaps new or are looking for a low impact slash low intensity build, I would probably recommend the Mechanist in PvE settings, because it is pretty comfortable and easy. This said, let's get into the gear, traits, and then talk about some gameplay. I am currently running with full Harriers, power, healing power, and concentration. Embarrassingly, I have not selected a rune set. Once again, you can take Rune of the Monk, Rune of the Grove, Rune of the Flock, anything that can maybe bolster up your concentration a little bit more and give you a little bit extra healing power. As for the weapon, I'm using the mace and the shield. The mace provides you with pretty decent condition application and some interrupts, which are nice, and the same with the shield. Good interrupts, good CC for certain break bar phases. As for my accessories, I'm also taking Harriers, power, healing power, and concentration. For the build, so this is my Mechanist support build. I'm running with Inventions, Alchemy, and the Mechanist. For Inventions, I'm running over shield as I have a shield. My shield abilities will grant protection to allies. I'm running Soothing Detonation, and finally, for this straight line, Medical Dispersion Field. A percentage of healing you apply to yourself is shared with nearby allies, 50% for 5 targets in a 360 radius. This is very strong. It is quite strong, so definitely take that one. Alchemy, I'm running with Protection Injection. Gain protection when you are disabled. If you happen to be taking the med kit, sure, you can go for health insurance, but this is kind of a trait that I just take just in case. Come back here, grant regeneration when you remove a condition from an ally, extra upticks in regen, and of course, purity of purpose. When you would cleanse a condition from an ally, convert it into a boon instead. Pretty nice, pretty nice. And then as for the Mechanist, we have Mech Arms High Impact Drivers. This grants might to allies. I'm running with Crisis Zone, your great and powerful trait to generate alacrity on yourself and allies. When you or your mech apply barrier, also grant alacrity to the affected target. Your mech gains a greater percentage of your own concentration and healing power stats. This is somewhat low duration alacrity, but if you can get up to 100% concentration, you can get this to around 2 seconds of alacrity. But regardless, you're applying so much barrier that you'll have pretty much 100% uptime on alacrity. It is really, really strong. And then finally, Barrier Engine. While in combat, your mech will automatically grant a small barrier each interval to nearby allies. So you're inherently going to get use out of this trait even if you miss certain barrier application effects. But also you gain Barrier Buster for your F3. It pulses barrier, might, and fury. Really, really strong. I'm taking Rectifier Signet, which does passive healing and healing to yourself and your mech. Running with Barrier Signet to reduce my own damage, but then also create a barrier bubble around the mech or myself, which also destroys projectiles. 4 Signet for extra damage and a knockback. Superconducting Signet for extra condition damage, while also applying a really nice condition damage field with vulnerability, confusion, and burning. And then finally, Overclock Signet to reduce the recharge of my other Signets, but then I can use this to call my mech to use the Jade Buster Cannon ability, and if they happen to have died, it will resummon my mech. So for the Mechanist, some key abilities to use is, well, first of all, Explosive Knuckle. I think would be really smart to get your mech to a certain location. If you do need to retarget your mech, use this. I almost wish that this was a shadow step to be a little bit more consistent. For your support abilities, your F2 and your F3 on your mech are extremely important. You want to be using these for the most part, off cooldown. Crisis Zone is great to apply multiple defensive boons with Aegis, Stability, Protection, and Alacrity. For your F3, we have Barrier Burst. This will put your mech into a channel, so just be aware of this. The mech does not count against the target count for this skill, and also for this skill to note. We're going to pop the F3. It will channel, spinning around, gaining Barrier, which with the traits applies Alacrity as well, but importantly, this is a nice might generator. Also, Fury is pretty decent. One thing to note is because this is a channel, I have also fallen prey to this multiple times. Actually, let me just quickly get some extra Alacrity on myself so I can, quicken the cooldowns a little bit. When your mech is channeling, be sure not to use your mace third ability, Rocket Fist Prototype. It will force your mech to then get out of its channel and use the next combo for the third ability. Not sure I can use this while it is, because I think I need a target selected. We're gonna choose this. Oh no, I don't. Yeah, see, it will get out of its channel and it'll actually try to shoot it at a aristocrat. So, maybe they did something wrong. Maybe the mech knows something that I don't. Barrier Signet, it will cause the barrier to emanate around your mech in a 600 radius, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or radius increase. Actually, it's only a 60 radius increase, so that brings it up to 300 radius. I kind of would like this if this was actually like 360, 400 radius, just because in PvE settings, the mech isn't the most controllable in terms of its positioning, unless you're of course taking Shift Signet. Now let's go over to some gameplay and talk a little bit extra about the Mechanist. Welcome everybody to the gameplay section. This section is going to be showing off some open world combat in terms of survivability and also in terms of how the mech can support other allies. Because while the mech and myself are not with others, the mech's abilities affect me in the same way your allies would be affected. But for open world builds, if you are just maybe focusing on something where you have higher defenses and are able to operate a little bit more comfortably in open world Cantha or Tyria, this build is really good because you have that aspect of survivability. But not only do you have that survivability, you have modest damage in the form of your mech's attacks and also your own. The mace and the shield are great for Defiance bar damage as well, so if you happen to encounter an enemy that has to be broken, you for the most part should be able to manage. Other aspects about the mace are its damaging functions. Your auto attack is nice to apply stacks of confusion, which capitalize on enemies attacking. Your second ability is great to apply self-regen and vigor, which are defensive boons, but also to apply extra vulnerability to increase the damage that they are receiving. Your third ability is also a very strong ability for damage and burning, and additionally forces your mech to use another rocket rocket punch ability that does extra damage. Also, this third ability does some break bar damage and I believe stuns or dazes. So once again, against those Defiance bars, you should be more than capable of taking them out. For open world though, I've had really great success with this build. I've been very comfortable. Granted, if I want to go with a build that can do as much damage as quickly as possible to destroy as many things as possible, I might take something, change a couple traits around that provide slightly more damage uptime, but it's nothing that I'm super uncomfortable with. I'm still able to kill things in a fairly timely manner if I'm not trying to beat the clock and go to an appointment or go to the gym or do something else. So honestly, if you are perhaps looking for something with low intensity, once again, I highly recommend this build. Also in group support settings and strikes, if you want to venture out and try that, this is another great build to apply that barrier, to apply those stacks of Alacrity and Might, and even Fury. It is really, really great. Thank you everyone so much for coming on by. If you'd like to support the channel, you can subscribe, like, and share. If you'd like to support the channel in more direct ways, I have a Patreon where you get early access to all these videos, get an exclusive Discord channel, and can recommend exclusive and cool videos. If you would like to order End of Dragons, we have links in the description, and if you're interested in VPN services, we have those below. Thank you so much, ExpressVPN, motorcycle in the background to boot. Thank you all so much for coming on by, and I will catch you all in the next video. Take care, everybody. Mwah.